A warm welcome to a short tutorial on the URL construction of SharePoint list with Microsoft Graph. Here we will use the Graph Explorer to run all the test queries and test the results. So overall, any list query in the graph mostly has the list followed by the list ID, and if you're manipulating the items, you need to use the items keyword at the end. And if you are working with the fields updation, you just need to use the fields keyword. So coming to the list items, when you are trying to get the list items, you can get the list items columns by using the expand equal to columns and items of expand equal to fields directly from the list itself without the items keyword. Now if you are having the items keyword, you generally have expand equal to fields and you have the filter equal to starts with or any filter operation after the filter keyword. So the filter operations can be title equal to Apple or title less than 10, and you have many filter operations based on your needs. And if you want to look at the top few items, you just use the keyword top equal to 2. One of the most important query is to create a list item or create the list database in SharePoint. So how do you do that? You use the post query and you pass the display name with the list name and you give the columns with the any extra column name with the type of the column, and you give the template, and most of the times it's a custom list or a generic list. And if you want to read the list details, you just use the lists list and you can view all the list items. And after that, if you want to work with list items, let's start off with the CRUD operation in the list item. So you, for every list items, you can just use the keyword items at the end and you can start working on the queries. If you want to create a new list item, you just have to use this metadata or the data query with the post keyword to add list items. If you want to update a list item, you use the keyword or the REST operation type is patch and you give the values for the updated columns, and the query ends with fields for the particular item ID. And if you want to remove a list item, you just give the ID at the end and then call the delete query type and delete the list item. Let's just go ahead and see a sample demo to understand various list operations using Microsoft Graph. So this is the Graph Explorer. So I've just connected to my development site. So let me just look at all the list in a particular site. So I just end the query with list, and what happens, it displays all the list items or all the items like apps in testing, and I have document like with what type it is from the template, and if I have a generic list, it have a list called fruits, so I can see various lists. So let's try to create a new list. Please make sure you have the sites.fullcontrol or dot permissions when you're creating a list. Grant the necessary permissions. And then we'll try to do the creation of list. So we'll give the metadata and we'll give the content type application/JSON, and now we'll change the request to post, and now we'll run the query. A fruits list is created. Note I've just changed the fruits demo so that it does not overwrite the existing fruits list, and we see the fruits demo list created. So now let's try to go ahead and try to add items to the list. So we use this fields and we give the title or location. So for that we need to get the list ID. So we just get this particular list ID and then we give items, and this is the metadata where we are going to just specify the columns. So let's try Apple. Since we have location, colon Washington, I run the post query and it creates a list, and these are the fields with title, location, ID is 1. So let's just go ahead and try to create one mango and kiwi, avocado, and banana. So we have 5 items created. So let's refresh the list. So there are items created. So now we just try to run some post queries, get queries. Now if we get all the items using the items keyword, we have, when you look at the results, we have a list of items and lot of details are coming, but we have no columns information. So we just have the values and we have the ID with the ID 1 or 2 and then the who created and all those details. So if you want to get the all the columns, we just say expand equal to fields. So now we get the information of fields which contains the title, location and the ID and other details. And suppose we want to select only few columns. Fields of select equal to, let's say title, location, and then run the query. So now we see the output where the fields are returning just the needed data. So sometimes we might just want to have the fields where we have, let's say we want to filter the items. So we say filter equal to title fields slash title equal to Apple. So when we run such query, so there is a problem, it says title cannot be indexed. So in that case, we just need to go to the list and make sure that the column is indexed. Otherwise, sometimes it is not working for the filtering. So if you want to filter by a specific column, make sure that it is indexed. And once it is indexed, you can actually search for the results. So let's wait for some time and run the query. So you might have to wait for some time till the index is fine. So meanwhile, let's look at the top 2 items. If I want to do the top 2 items, I just say dollar of top equal to 2. So let's try order by equal to title theme slash. So as of now, this order by is not supported. So let's just try the dollar filter query now. So filter is equal to, let's say, starts with of fields slash title, comma, let's say app. So So the index was not created properly before. I just created, now it's fine. And once the index is created, I just write a query which is searching for items starting with app, and it displays the app. And if I want to search for items where it is equal to a particular value, I'll just say space equal to, let's say apple. Let's try kiwi. Let's me check if I have it. And I should be slash title. Something has happened and it has logged off. Let me sign in again. So let me again try to do the filter query for the list, where let me just do expand equal to fields, and I'm just trying to filter where I'm just selecting the title equal to kiwi. I need to get the particular list ID before I run the query. So let me quickly search for the fruits demo list and get the ID. And now let me just type the, first let me type this query and ensure that I get this particular list. And now I'll type the items, which will get all the list. And now I'll expand the columns so that I get the field values. And now I'll just apply the filter, and $filter equal to, for fields I need to use field slash followed by the field name, then equal to, let's say apple. So now I just get the apple value. Okay, so there are a lot of options. So we can get the data starting with some value or equal to some value, top value. So we have seen how to get list items. So we can also update the list item. So we'll just try to update the list item. So we have to use the patch request, and we need to get the particular list ID. So here the ID is 1. So we'll just say items slash 1 or items of 1. Let me get the request and check I'm getting the right. So I just need to call the patch request and title. Let's make the location say London, and I'll try to run the query. And the location is updated. Please note that we need to put the fields also at the end, and then the location or other values can be updated. And in case we want to delete the item, we'll just give the delete request, and let's try to delete the second item, mango. Let's run the query and let's refresh the page. So now there are 4 items out of 5 items. Mango is deleted. So we have learned how to do CRUD operations on list items and create and update, and list items from a list. So what are some of the comparisons? We can actually create on read list only. We cannot update or delete a list as we do in the SharePoint REST URL. And regarding the list items, we can do a lot of CRUD operations in list items. We can also see the list of versions for the list items. using the versions keyword in graph. REST has very powerful operations, the SharePoint REST for list items, but most of the common operations like create, read, update, delete can be done in Microsoft Graph. And when we're selecting the columns in REST API in SharePoint, it's very simple. We just put select equal to title, location and all. Over here, we have to use the expand equal to fields and then give the selected columns in the select in the parenthesis. And for filtering, we need to make sure that we select the fields using field/title. In the REST API, we just use filter is equal to title equal to 1. No, we don't need to use the keyword fields. So graph has minimalistic but yet commonly used operations, and hope you enjoy using graph also to create many applications, be that add-ins in Office or Microsoft SharePoint Framework app or any other app. Thank you so much. Hope this helps you to create many powerful applications. Take care. Bye-bye.